I am so excited to introduce you to the Soul Planner. I'm Kim Marie, author of the Sacred Nights of Winter Journal and creator of Solace and the Soul Planner. And the Soul Planner very much came out of the work of coaching and mentoring and teaching that I do, largely because one of my greatest passions is the integration of feminine and masculine qualities, really looking at how we are coming into balance, navigating the extremes of life, and finding our center, finding our middle way. And that means integrating the extremes and blending the masculine and feminine qualities of our being. Now, in many cases, you'll see planners that are all about, checking off the list, making sure we plan every detail of our lives and box in every time block. That is not what the Soul Planner is about. And at the same time, there are other situations where people kind of throw the planner out altogether and they focus on only free form, whether it's journaling or creative sketching or drawing or things like that. And that is also not what this is. What I came to see through the work that I do, particularly my Solace Program and the Sacred Nights of Winter, is that what we really need is to have this beautiful blend. The river needs the riverbanks, right? Without the masculine structure of the riverbanks, we don't have the capacity for the feminine flow of our creative endeavors and our soul's destiny. We end up a big puddle on the ground without the riverbanks. And of course, too much attention on the riverbanks can leave us with a dry riverbed that has very little movement in it. The Soul Planner was created to honor how we can weave in the elements of feminine flow, creativity, expression, as well as the masculine elements of structure, form, productivity, and accountability and focus. Feminine flow is going to include looking at things like the phases of the moon, the rhythm of the sun moving through the constellations over the course of the year, the honoring of the seasons, the honoring of the journey of our soul and the cycles, the natural cycles that we go through to move into various phases and stages of our life. And the masculine elements are going to include things like keeping track of what needs to be done, organizing our thoughts, being able to have some kind of container to hold this flow so that it can move in the directions that it needs to move. Enter the Soul Planner. Now, this is an example of one of the options that you can get. I have an option to order the printed and delivered version. It's a simple spiral bind, very nice and thick. I'm going to go through the pages for you. And cardstock cover, lots of beautiful pages inside. So that's the printed and delivered option. If you order the digital download, you will also receive a digital copy that has interactive tabs, and I'm going to do a demonstration of that for you as well as you're going to get downloadable versions that are just a basic PDF file that you can use on your computer screen like any other PDF file you scroll through. It won't have interactive tabs to jump around to different things. And then there's also a PDF that has what's called crop marks, and those crop marks can be used by a printer if you want to take it to a printer to be printed. And of course you can print it yourself as well and trim the pages. It is this A5 size, which is smaller than standard 8.5 by 11 paper. So you're going to want to trim the edges or have a printer trim it for you. I will say to you that the deal that I have with my printer to get this printed and delivered to your door is about half the cost, including shipping. It's half the cost of what it cost me to take this to my local printer and get this printed. All right, so just keep that in mind. And the interior pages are black and white, so this isn't because it's a big full color page. If you want a hard copy, I highly recommend that you order the hard copy to have it shipped to you. Now, I want to go into demonstrating to you the digital version because this is incredibly powerful what this can do. All the ways in which we can link around, insert extra pages, all of these kinds of things. And I've never worked with a digital planner like this, and I really wanted to create something that feels simple, not overwhelming, not a million things to track. So let's take a look at that. So I am using the Remarkable, which is an ink tablet, but this is the desktop app connected with the Remarkable. I'm going to page through the digital planner here. I can page through with these little page pieces, but other
apps might require that you scroll through like any other typical PDF. What's really special is that here in the digital version, you have these tabs across the top and down the side that you will always be able to quickly access. So while I can page through this with the pagination, or you'd be able to scroll if it were a different app, I can instead choose to click my calendar overview. And here we get this great broad spread. What's beautiful about this is all of these are also linked. So I can click to February and I go to the February month spread, or I can go back to my calendar. I can click any week that I want. If I want to click on July 17th, you'll see it takes me to the week of July 17th. So this is so nice to be able to navigate quickly and easily. The thing that really makes this planner stand out is this concept of the wheels. Now, it's the soul planner because I want us to be able to remain in connection with our soul and consider all of the things that help us do that. In my work, nature is such a huge part of that, honoring the rhythm of the seasons, the phases of the moon, the rhythm of the sun moving through the zodiacal signs through the year, the Celtic festivals that celebrate the various seasons. So I have given you these wheels. You have a wheel of the zodiac, the Celtic wheel of the year, a wheel of moon phases, as well as a soul's journey wheel. And the moon phases are going to be seen throughout the entire planner. You're going to see them in the monthly spreads and the weekly spreads. And if you're forgetting what the symbol represents, you can always come back to this wheel of the moon phases to see what the symbol represents and what you might be mindful of, whether it's a feminine or masculine phase of the moon, and how to work with it. And then the soul's journey wheel is this wonderful compilation sharing the zodiacal signs and the months and the Celtic festivals and the 4 seasons and how they relate to the overall cycle of the year, the out breath of summer and the in breath and darker time of the winter months. And so this is really a powerful way to stay in tune with what's going on and start paying attention to how our soul relates to the soul of the world. And then we have a year overview spread, which has each of the months and 3 columns. And this is meant to be free for you to put in whatever you want to pay attention to. Maybe you want to put in some significant milestones that you want to reach in these months, maybe for your business, your health and fitness, and your home and family projects or something along those lines. But you get to choose. And the idea with this is that it's meant and intended to be something that's very flexible. I did include some key dates for 2024. So you might be mindful of that in some of these and add your own key dates to this list as you wish. You can see there's lots of room to add your own. Many apps allow you to type in them. There's an app called GoodNotes that is wonderful. You can use it on your tablet and use a stylus, but you can also type in it. So you could type added things here in your year overview and be able to put in whatever you like or use your stylus. There's a weekly rhythm, which I love. What am I going to do? What's my rhythm going to be? Again, paying attention to the rhythm of the soul and the feminine nature that we need. We can't be on all the time. So are you going to give yourself some space, maybe certain days or certain times of the day, to have this in-breath and out-breath that we need so much in order to stay attuned to our soul? And I love to pencil these in and switch them up through the year because things change from season to season, quarter to quarter, month to month, and I want that flexibility. I've chosen to put some year intentions and goals with the 4 main areas of our life that you can start to just jot in some intentions and goals. Whenever you see this note icon, this means there's an additional page spread associated with this page for some notes. And so I click that and I have vision and goal planning. I can choose to sketch out. The nice thing about digital planners is you can insert pages. So let's say I wrote out a whole bunch of things for my vision and I was journaling and sketching and I just want more pages. Well, I insert a page, I make a little note that there's an extra page there, and it will insert that page, and I'll be able to go back and click my year overview or click it here with the year intentions and goals. And then we have a habit tracker. Again, I didn't want to be so rigid as to have, 8 glasses of water drawn on every day that you have to fill in. This is just for you to kind of gauge whatever it is that you want. Like, for instance, I like to track how many days a week I lift weights or how often I do yoga. There might be projects that you want to track and you want to put them in here as knowing that, okay, in the month of January, I have this project that I'm going to start on the 15th and I'm going to block off this time and have this milestone of finishing it on the 27th or whatever that is. So this can track projects or the habits that you want to keep track of. And the nice thing about this too is that no matter where you are, let's say you're in March and you're on the 6th of March, I can quickly click. It takes me to that week. I can go back to my habit tracker and immediately put my habit in. So I love that this goes back and forth so quickly. Now we have quarterly spreads. This is the quarterly overview. I've given you 6 boxes. Again, these might be projects or this might be domains of your life. Maybe you have some business goals that you want to put in here, or maybe there's a particular course or project that you're designing or creating that you want to put a list in here. And then you can add additional notes or brainstorming here, and you'll see there's another notes icon, which means there's another page spread for brainstorming and planning. And again, you can insert pages as you wish. What's really lovely about this as well is each of the months is associated with a quarter in the year. So you'll see that I can click my month spread, but there's always a quarter spread. I can go right back to that quarter one and, back into another month and go to my quarter. Each of the monthly spreads has a notice of when the sun is shifting into a new constellation. So you can see here we have February, the sun enters Aquarius, February 13th. The virtue is the gift of the constellation that the sun is entering. Aquarius gives us the gift of discernment and states that if we work with discernment and communicativeness, we get this power of stillness. And if we go to the extreme of too much discernment, we end up being kind of secretive. Or if we go to the extreme of too much communicativeness, we become a gossip. And those of you who have worked with my Sacred Nights of Winter journal and my balance and empowerment cards, you'll really appreciate being able to stay on track with this. And then those are such complementary ways to work with this. You might have made some notes in those cards or in your journal that you want to transfer over here to your planner and make notes for. And so again, here's a notes icon. So our monthly brainstorming and planning, you just click back to your month when you want to go back to that. I love to pull a monthly oracle and I put that here. Gives me kind of a signature energy for the overall month. You can put your intention and focus that you want to have for the month. You can also put your priorities for the month. You can just list them out here, or I have also put quarter markers here so that you could kind of divide 3 tasks per quarter of the month. It's a way of breaking it down into bite-sized chunks so it doesn't feel quite so overwhelming. And then, of course, more space here. Maybe there are certain things you want to list out to be mindful of, or periodically jot down things that you want to remember or be grateful for, whatever you want to use this for. The idea is to make it your own. And then, of course, the monthly spreads are attached to weekly spreads. And so you can see that the months have the phases of the moon in them. And like I said, you can go back to the wheel if you're not sure what phase is. The dark circle is a new moon and a light circle is a full moon. And so let's say I wanted to go to my week 6 spread. It's going to tell me what time that new moon and full moon are. And it's in Mountain Standard Time in the US. It feels like a good central time, whether you're East or West Coast, or whether you're in another place in the world, you can make the translation from there, but it gives you the precise time. You can then choose to, if you want in that month, you could use your notes page to journal about the full or new moon and make a note of that. You could also choose to go into the weekly spread and do the same kind of thing. The weekly spreads all have a note where we can record if we want to jot down what our new moon intentions are, or journal a bit about what we're experiencing with the phases of the moon. We can do that here or in the monthly notes, however you wish. The weekly notes have this title: Inspiration, Imagination, Intuition. Those 3 are the cornerstone of how our soul speaks to us. We have this concept of spiritual hearing, spiritual seeing, and spiritual knowing. That's what inspiration, imagination, and intuition are. So it's really encouraging you to pay attention to what that is. Maybe you record your dreams here. Maybe you make notes of what kinds of intuitions and things you have. And then there's some kind of inspirational quote that typically relates in some way to the season or the month, or some kind of concept that you could contemplate. You could use them like a journal prompt to contemplate and sit with that and reflect upon that, however you wish to use them. And you can just click right back into your weekly spread. Now, the weekly spread itself, I love to plan my weeks like on Sunday evening or early Monday morning. I have another calendar, like a digital calendar, where people can book coaching sessions with me, and I can sit down and put in any appointments that I have from that calendar in this section. I like to do that. And then I like to plan out what are my business tasks and what are my personal tasks for the week. I like to just list them out here. And then each day I'll say, okay, what from my business list am I going to put? And I like to use this half of this larger box for my business tasks for that day, and this half of the larger box for my personal tasks for the day. I love to pull a weekly oracle when I'm doing my weekly planning as well. And I tend to put that right here. That's how I use it. But the idea is you can use it however you wish. And I purposely did not choose to do daily spreads because the idea of blocking every hour of every day or having every half hour to write something in, to me, feels very constraining. If you really want that, you could certainly do it right here. You could create an hourly or half hourly spread for yourself to write in those kinds of appointments. That's the beauty of this, to have that kind of flexibility for yourself. Now we have this index. This is in both the digital and the printed and delivered version. And the idea behind the index is that, let's say you did record a dream one day and you really want to make sure that you can find that and remember where you put it. You can put dream about the dragon chasing me, March week 11. Then you'll know that you can quickly click on March week 11. And then you know that maybe you recorded your dream in that week, okay? And then it's nice because you can go right back to that index and list whatever you wish. In the digital, exclusively to the digital, we have this ideas tab. I used my stylus on my Remarkable to jot in a couple of examples to show you. Let's say I was planning my sister's birthday. I could put this in here. And the beauty of this is I can click on this and it will go to the spread for planning my sister's birthday. So every line in that ideas tab is linked to its own spread. And in that spread, of course, you can make whatever notes. Maybe you want to have the caterer's phone number and you want to have a food list and you want to put a seating chart or a gift list or a guest list or whatever it is that you want to do for planning that. And then you can always just click right back to your ideas tab. Each line has a 2-page spread. And so this is the fourth of the 2-page spreads going to this course outline. You can see this here. Same thing. Maybe I have my course outline here. And if I want more than 2 pages, I can insert a page here. And that's going to be there. I can make a little note that there's an extra page to page 2, which I can, page 2 like that. And as you can see, if I go back just using pages or scrolling, there's my sister's birthday and there's the ideas list. So these are all separate spreads for these various ideas that you have, which is a great added feature to the digital version. So I really think this is going to be amazing. These wheels are going to help you stay on track. And the fact that this is so interactive and clickable is so powerful for keeping you aligned with your soul throughout the year.
I want to take a moment to show you the printed planner and what you can expect when you get that shipped to your door. Let's take a look at the printed and delivered version and roughly what it's going to look like. Now, I printed this locally, just so you know, but this is very much what you're going to get from the printer. You're going to see these pages, and all the pages are quite similar. These are printed really on white paper. The final version that I did, I chose to print on cream paper to just make it a little bit warmer for you. So you'll see that. I wanted to share here too, I have these little tabs that I created using their Post-it tabs so that you can put some tabs on them so that when you're working with it, if you want to quickly, shift to your habit tracker, that's the tab to open it to. Unlike the digital version, this one doesn't have any tabs on it, but you can add little Post-it tabs to help make the whole process easier. And I did something similar like with the quarter. You can see I created a tab here, and you can just line them up so that you can quickly, okay, I want to turn to my quarter and my habit tracker, and you could do it for the month and the weekly spread. But ultimately, you're seeing exactly the same thing in this process, the quarter spreads, the monthly spreads, and then ultimately the weekly spreads with the quotes on them in the brainstorming. You will have an index in the back for indexing things that you want to keep track of to still be able to write in there. So you can just write and put the page number in. and write in. This does have page numbers, unlike the digital version. The one that you can download to print yourself has page numbers, but the digital version with the clickable tabs does not, because it's really meant to be clickable, and you can insert pages and everything else with that. So you can, and then, plenty of blank pages here at the end to be able to brainstorm. And as I mentioned before, this hard copy will not have the ideas pages, but it has all the same detail, all of the wheels of the year, and hopefully this will prove to be really nice. You can flip it open to be able to have it be pretty compact. It's thick. It's a big, hefty unit because it gives you lots of space for that freedom. But I love this size. It's such a nice, compact size to be able to take around with you. I hope that by now you're seeing the potency of this planner and the ways that it can feed and nourish your soul while at the same time achieving your goals and manifesting your vision. Be sure to check out other programs that the Soul Planner will be an incredible complement to, such as my Solace Program, where we also have quarterly planning sessions, and there are other courses in my course library that may be of interest to you. I hope you'll check those out, and most of all, I hope that you create an amazing year aligned with your soul.